Coming to you from the secret location of the shield generator on Endor, this is Final Death Star. The Simpsons have had a history of being able to seemingly predict the future, and in 2020, it's no exception. They seem to have been able to do it again. Today we're going to take a look at some of the top ways they have predicted the future in the past. One of the most notable ways they predicted the future was in an episode from 19 years ago when they seemingly predicted the presidency of Donald Trump. And it's not the only time they've predicted the future. Here are the top 18 ways that the Simpsons have predicted events that would later come true. Number 1, the Three-Eyed Fish, Season 2, Episode 4. In this episode from 1990, Bart catches a three-eyed fish named Blinky in the river by a power plant, which makes local headlines. More than a decade later, a three-eyed fish was discovered in a reservoir in Argentina. Strangely enough, the reservoir itself was fed by water from a nuclear power plant. An episode from 1990 titled Itchy and Scratchy and Marge showed Springfield's protesting against Michelangelo's statue of David being exhibited in a local museum, calling the artwork obscene for its nudity. The satire of censorship came true in July of 2016 when Russian campaigners voted on whether to clothe a copy of the Renaissance statue that had been set up in central St. Petersburg. Number 3, Letter from the Beatles, Season 2, Episode 18. In 1991, an episode of The Simpsons saw the Beatles' Ringo Starr diligently answering fan mail that had been written decades ago. In September 2013, two Beatles fans from Essex received a reply from Paul McCartney to a letter and recording they sent to the band 50 years ago. The recording was sent to a London theater the band was due to play, but was found years later in a car boot sale by a historian. In 2013, the BBC's The One Show reunited the pair with the letter plus a reply from Paul McCartney. Number 4, Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack, Season 5, Episode 10. The Simpsons parodied entertainers Siegfried and Roy in a 1993 episode called Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Loving Legalized Gambling. During the episode, the magicians are viciously mauled by a trained white tiger while performing in a casino. In 2003, Roy Horn of Siegfried and Roy was attacked during a live performance by Montecore, one of the white tigers. He lived but sustained severe injuries in the attack. Number 5, Horsemeat Scandal, Season 5, Episode 19. In 1994, lunch lady Doris used assorted horse parts to make lunch for students at Springfield Elementary. 9 years later, the Food Safety Authority of Ireland found horse DNA in over one-third of beef burger samples from supermarkets and ready meals, and pig in 85% of them. Number 6, Autocorrect, Season 6, Episode 8. School bullies Kearney and Dolph take a memo to beat up Martin on a Newton device in an episode of The Simpsons that aired in 1994. The memo gets quickly translated to Eat Up Martha, an early foreshadowing of autocorrect frustrations. Number 7, Smartwatches, Season 6, Episode 19. The Simpsons introduced the idea of a watch that you could use as a phone in an episode aired in 1995, nearly 20 years before Apple's watch was released. The Lisa's Wedding episode from 1995 came with a lot of unexpected predictions. During Lisa's trip to London, we see a skyscraper behind Tower Bridge that looks eerily similar to the Shard, and it's even in the right location. In Lisa's Wedding, we discover that librarians have been replaced with robots in the Simpsons universe. More than 20 years later, robotics students at universities are building prototypes for a walking library robot, while scientists in Singapore have begun testing their own robotic librarians. Number 10, the discovery of the Higgs boson equation, Season 8, Episode 1. In a 1998 episode called The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer Simpson becomes an inventor and is shown in front of a complicated equation on a blackboard. According to Simon Singh, the author of The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, the equation predicts the mass of the Higgs boson particle. It was first predicted in 1964 by Professor Peter Higgs and 5 other physicists, but it wasn't until 2013 that scientists discovered proof of the Higgs boson particle. Number 11, Ebola outbreak in Season 9, Episode 3. Some people maintain The Simpsons predicted the 2014 outbreak of Ebola 17 years before it happened. In a scene from the episode, Lisa Sachs, Marge suggests a sick Bart read a book titled Curious George and the Ebola virus. The virus wasn't particularly widespread in the 1990s, but years later, it was the top of the news agenda. In an episode, When You Dish Upon a Star, that originally aired in 1998, Ron Howard and Brian Grazer produced a script Homer pitches. The script is being produced at 20th Century Fox, and a sign in front of the studio's headquarters reveals that it is a division of Walt Disney Company. Number 13, the invention of the tobacco tomato plant, Season 11, Episode 5. In 1999, Homer uses nuclear energy to create a hybrid of a tomato and a tobacco called the Tamaco. This inspired U.S. Simpsons fan Bob Bauer to create his own plant. In 2003, Bauer grafted together a tomato root and a tomato stem to make Tamaco. Writers for The Simpsons were so impressed that they invited Bauer and his family to their offices and ate the Tamaco fruit themselves. Number 14, faulty voting machines, Season 20, Episode 4. In 2008, The Simpsons showed Homer trying to vote for Barack Obama in the U.S. general election, but a faulty machine changed his vote. 4 years later, a voting machine in Pennsylvania had to be removed after it kept changing people's votes for Barack Obama to one of his Republican rival, Mitt Romney. Number 15, the U.S. beats Sweden in curling at the Olympic Games, Season 21, Episode 12. One of the biggest upsets in the 2018 Winter Olympics, the U.S. curling team won over favorite Sweden. This historical win was predicted in a 2010 episode The Simpsons called Boy Meets Curl. In the episode, Marge and Homer Simpson compete in curling at the Vancouver Olympics and beat Sweden. In real life, the U.S. men's Olympic curling team won a gold medal after defeating Sweden, even though they were behind, which is exactly how it played out on The Simpsons. The victory is the second curling medal ever for the United States, not including Marge and Homer's, of course. Number 16, Nobel Prize winner, Season 22, Episode 1. MIT professor Ben Holmstrom won the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2016, 6 years after he was bet on to win the Nobel Prize on The Simpsons. Holmstrom's name appeared on a betting scorecard when Martin, Lisa, Database, and Milhouse bet on the Nobel Prize winners. Number 17, Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show, Season 23, Episode 22. In 2012, Lady Gaga performed for the town of Springfield hanging in midair. 5 years later, she flew off the Houston's NRG stadium roof in real life to perform her Super Bowl halftime show. Number 18, Daenerys Targaryen's big plot twist in Game of Thrones, Season 29, Episode 1. On the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen shocked fans when she and her dragon laid waste to an already surrendered King's Landing, obliterating thousands of innocent people. In 2017, on a Season 29 episode of The Simpsons titled The Serfsons, which spoofed various aspects of Game of Thrones, including the Three-Eyed Raven and the Night King, Homer revives a dragon that proceeds to incinerate the village. And now we come to the most recent update and prediction by The Simpsons. And this deals with something we're all currently going through right now in a worldwide scale. Could it be that The Simpsons have predicted a virus that would sweep the world? The clip comes from the 1993 episode that sparked the initial speculation in February that The Simpsons predicted the coronavirus. From Season 4, Marge and Chains depicts a strange virus from Osaka, Japan that sweeps through the town of Springfield. In that episode, an assembly line worker in Japan falls ill with the flu and sneezes into boxes carrying a hot new item that will be shipped to numerous Springfield residents, including Homer. The town's inhabitants become scared and panicked, demanding a cure, a placebo even. In their anger and desperation, they knock over a truck hoping to find a treatment, but instead release a hive from a box marked Danger Killer Bees. Could they not have only predicted a virus that was going to sweep through Springfield, but also murder hornets coinciding at the same time in the same episode? I will leave that for you to decide. Let me know in the comments below what you think of these predictions, and if you know of any other predictions that The Simpsons have made that I've missed on this list. Thank you for watching. If you haven't, please do subscribe. It's no skin off your back, and it helps me out a lot. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.